the sun. Whoops, let's do that again. Okay, guys, let's talk about the sun. A lot of people have asked me, is the sun a simulation? Is it a real thing? What are we seeing up in the sky? We've been lied to so many times. Our reality has been turned upside down and inside out to the point that we don't know what we're seeing anymore. So let's talk about what's going on with the sun. Is that a real thing? Yes and no. There is a real sun. It's not what we see in the sky. The real sun is hidden behind a simulation. Now, a lot of you will say, but Carrie, you always talk about solar flares. You always talk about the sun being the trigger for ascension. You always talk about spending time in the sun, but you're telling me it's a simulation? Well, first of all, most of our world, pretty much all of our world is a simulation. We live in a holographic simulation. What this means is we haven't had access to the real sun, to the organic universe. That's what the real sun is. The real sun is a part of the organic universe. We've been living in a false matrix. You guys don't understand the depth of what it means to be in a false reality. Everything that we were conditioned to believe is up is down. Everything we've been conditioned to believe is down. Yeah, exactly. It's up. This means because we've been so accustomed to living in an inverted world, we can't see the wood for the trees. See, a question that I get asked so often, you guys, so often is, oh, but Carrie, you're talking about the X-class flares and the solar storms and all the effects of the sun. Isn't it just weather manipulation? We know that there are equipments in the world capable of this weather manipulation. Guys, I'm very careful about words that I use on social media. And I want you to do the same, just by the way, because everything is monitored, including your comments. But anyway, it's very important for you to understand why. Why would there be so much misinformation, disinformation, confusion, illusion, lies, and then some more lies on top? Why? Because that's the nature of living in a false matrix. Part of it was to brainwash and stupefy humanity to the point that we could no longer see what was real, to the point that we began to defend the lies, defend the illusions. And at that point, what happens? We can no longer read reality. And that means that we're very easy to manipulate. I will come back to the sun. I know I just felt that whole lot of you going, okay, Carrie, but what about the sun? What about the sun? Let's come back to weather manipulation for a little sec, and then I'll talk about the sun some more. With weather manipulation, yes, a lot of it is induced at the level of mechanics, right? In other words, malevolent interference. However, that's a small percentage. What's really going on is a cyclical event right now. We're headed towards ascension. And as we come closer and closer to ascension, things get crazier and crazier. The weather gets weirder and weirder. And I've said this to you guys before. The rain gets rainier, the heat gets hotter, the cold gets colder. So part of this is malevolent, but a bigger part is a natural cyclical event. Why? To get you to doubt yourself, to be confused, and more importantly, way more importantly, to get what you see taking place in many a comment section, arguing among yourselves. Because if they can get that to happen, if they can get human beings to argue among themselves, they've won. Because the more humanity argues among themselves, and you hear people going, no, it's harp, no, it's the sun, but there is no sun, but the earth is flat, but the earth is round, wow, wow, wow. The more they can get that to happen, people defending lies, what's going to happen? No one's going to look up and look for the real enemy. No one's going to see the wood for the trees. In other words, no one's going to see reality. To the point that we've become so blind, so unaccustomed to seeing the true light of day, so unaccustomed to seeing truth that we don't recognize it. It was an insanity to me when we had the recent X-class flares and so many people were saying, it's weather manipulation. It's not real. That was real, you guys. That was 100% real. And what did they do to create doubt and confusion in the minds of specifically light workers and truth seekers? They created an event, a weather manipulation event. There was a test run of a piece of equipment known as a harp, a stringed instrument. You guys know what I'm talking about. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about. That was played on that day that the X-class flares were released. Again, why? To get you to doubt what you see, to get you to fight among yourselves, to get you to never see the bigger truth of what's happening. When we know about something, then you've got to believe that we know on purpose. When we know about certain names, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the Bill Gateses of the world, you've got to know that we know these names for a certain reason. There are puppet masters behind those guys, the names that we know. These are the small fries, meaning these guys aren't the people with the power. They're not who we think they are. They're who we've been told they are. Understand that what the truther community and the truth seekers see is little drops, tiny little drops, and they're trying to analyze the ocean based on tiny little droplets that they see, imagining this is the totality. This is not the totality. The web of depravity that we've lived under is way bigger than you realize. Okay, let's go to the sun. So the sun is a simulation, but what that means is there is an organic sun that's a part of the organic universe, the natural world that we originally come from, the world that the false matrix was hijacked out of, that we haven't had access to, that has been quarantined away from us. So we've been, in a sense, imprisoned upon this planet, seeing everything false lights. But so think of it as a curtain, and think of behind that curtain is the real show, the real sun. So there's the real sun. There is what's placed over the real sun, meaning a simulation. But here is what's important, you guys. The real sun, it still leaks light. And this is something that the archons and the dark ones and the manipulative and nefarious ones cannot comprehend. Do you know why? Because they can't comprehend the power of love, because they can't comprehend the power of light, because all they can see is darkness. They do not understand the quantum nature, the miraculous nature of a miracle, of love, of divinity, because that's what they hate and that's what they've unplugged from. So they do not take into account the following. Let's just say it's a rainy day, because I also get this in my comments when I talk about the sun. People have, specifically in the UK recently, have said, in California apparently, people have said, there's so much cloud cover, we don't see the sun, it's being blocked from us. You guys, but it's still there. That's what I feel like so many people fail to notice, but the organic universe still exists. Your ability to read the organic universe still exists. Simulations are illusions. They're not what is real. Now, this is what I've said to the people in my comment section when they've said, that's so cloudy and it's purposeful weather manipulation, blocking out the sunlight. Who cares, quite honestly? This is important, when you can access divine truth within you, no filter, nothing can stop you from accessing the divine truth of the organic matrix, of the organic universe. And yes, the organic universe is a matrix. A lot of people freak out when I say that because you think matrix is bad. Matrix just means a world. It just means a reality field, right? So the false matrix is the place we grew up in. The organic matrix, also known as the organic universe, that's God's world. That's where we come from. That's a multidimensional reality plane where things occur in harmony. That's the natural universe. Tapping into truth inside of you gives you direct access to the sun. So it doesn't matter how cloudy it is. It doesn't matter how simulated the sun is. It doesn't matter. They could block that dang thing out with a huge spacecraft. They could do anything that they want to. The light within you reads the light of the sun. The organic world shines through. Doesn't matter how many clouds there are. Doesn't matter how many lies there are. Unless you're clouded. Unless you are lying to yourself. This is why I keep working with people at the level of look at you, look at you, look at yourself. Yes, this is going on in the world. Stop looking at what you can't change. Start looking at where your power lies. Okay, so what can I change in here? Oh, I could become more truth. And then what? Then I become even more truth. Because truth is not a static thing. It's a multidimensional, ever-growing thing. So I could become more, and then bigger, and then deeper, and then broader, and then wider, and then quantum, and then the ripple that changes the world. One person, you have the power, you have the potential, you have the capacity to do that. You really, really do. But it depends on how much of a spiritual warrior are you prepared to be. Remembering my definition of a spiritual warrior is not that person who goes out there to fight everything. It's that person who goes in here to face everything. That's where the real courage lies. In my online community where I do my real in-depth core teachings, they're called the Plasma Light Tribe. I have this cool saying. I love the saying. When it first came out of my mouth, I couldn't believe that it did, because I've had many a crass and many an uncouth thing come out of my mouth in teaching. It just does, because I'm so in the throes of truth. It's just unfiltered. And one of them one day wasn't particularly rude. I was just kind of shocked at the way it came out. I said, guys, you know when you don't want to be where you are and you want to be anywhere else but where you are, and you're so avoiding where you are, but you want to somehow move on from where you are, you can't do that. You can't move on from where you are until you are where you are. Therefore, sit your bum down. Like wiggle into it. That was what I said to him. I said, sit your damn bum down into the place you don't want to be, the reality you don't want to be in, the feelings you don't want to feel, everything you've avoided, all of your aversions, all of your resistances, all of your running away froms, all of your I don't want this and I don't want that, and they should be punished and that person's wrong. Just sit your bum down in what you feel and what you experience. That's how you begin the process of alchemy, and you are an everyday alchemist. This is the core of what I teach. Alchemy is the core of your gifts. So many people say, oh, I want my gifts to come online. No, your gifts are online. It's not that you don't have them. It's that you forgot how to use them. You're an everyday alchemist, meaning you came here to this world to be an average, so-called, ordinary human being. But you know there's nothing average and ordinary about you when you're an everyday alchemist, right? Your ability to dissolve truth within you and transcend illusion within you turns, this is important to you guys, it turns the illusion into truth. So many people conditioned by the false matrix want to get rid of the lie. Get rid of the pain, get rid of the headache, get rid of the trauma, get rid of the whatever it is that poses discomfort, get rid of it. No, the alchemist throws nothing away. The alchemist is the ultimate recycling depot. The alchemist transforms everything into light. So there is nothing to avoid. There is everything to alchemize. This is how we transcend the false matrix, not by telling it that it's bad and pushing against it and rioting and protesting and screaming and shouting and blaming and shaming and calling out this one and yelling at that one. It's a quiet internal affair of transcending your own limitations. The false matrix that lives within you is exactly that. It's your own limitations, your own skewed beliefs, your own I'm not good enoughness. It's that sort of stuff that we alchemize into the pure divine light. And when you do, you get these receptors in you that start to read the organic sun. Now, we're going to talk about ascension in a second. So the organic sun flares, because we talk about solar flares, right? What's it doing? The organic sun is flaring past the simulation. So imagine the simulation as a shield. Imagine the organic sun behind that shield. But when that organic sun flares and it sends off signals, as it's doing right now, and this is a two-part episode in the sense that it takes two parties to partake in this communication, that being the sun delivering the light codes of God, the organic universe, right? That's because the sun is a portal that delivers the essence of the organic universe, of God's creation, into that which has been a false matrix. And here's the second part, or the second party in this communication. The sun was one part, humanity is the other. You can see why there's a simulation, right? The simulation is an attempt to prevent humanity from receiving these light codes from the organic sun. But when you can read truth, no shield is evident. That shield, which is in other words the illusion, fades, becomes irrelevant in your reality. In the false matrix, we responded. Oh my gosh, you guys. We responded to, we're answerable to the illusion. In other words, we answered to the lie. We perpetuated the lie. We worshipped the lie. We spoke the lie. One day we're all going to sit together and laugh about how deep that lie was and how much we didn't know. And we're going to see our innocence in it all. But until that time, I want you to please understand and share this message with your friends when you see them getting into confusion, illusion, the debate. Oh, please avoid the debate. Truth does not debate. But to know truth, you've got to first be in the discomfort of the lie. So look at that two-part communication that I spoke about. Here you've got the sun. Here you've got the human beings on the earth who are now able to read the sun's light codes. Darkness never believed that that was possible. They never believed that we could do it through the shield. We've done it through the shield. Shield is still there. But when the organic sun, which is behind the simulation, when that flares, we start receiving those light codes. But that's only a small part of it. Remember, I've spoken to you about the rods of light, and I've said to you, what are the rods of light doing? The rods of light are holding open corridors between our world and the organic universe that surrounds us, letting in the light. You guys, this is huge. Letting in the light of the organic universe that it's soaking, pouring, flooding into our world. But it only has impact when there are receptors on the planet. That's you. That's me. That's the people listening to this video. And please do give this video a like. I'm trying so hard to get these messages out to as many people as possible, and I'd love your help, because when you like the video, you know it shows up on more people's feeds. So when we become receptors on the surface for those light codes, we become part of the ripple that dissolves the false matrix, that allows more people to wake up. That's why we've got these pop awakenings and so many more people waking up to what is. So can you understand now that when I say to you, ascension is going to happen, nothing can stop that. But their plan was, the archons and architects of the false matrix, their plan was to shield the sun so that nobody could get enlightened before ascension, because if you're still worshipping the lie and still upholding the lie and still entangled with the illusion of the false matrix and still defending the false matrix, then what that means is when ascension happens, this was the plan that isn't going to happen, the plan of the dark ones. They knew that the sun was going to flare and then totally melt and overtake that shield or simulator that they've got in front of the sun. When that happens, it was supposed to have been a big shock to humanity, that most of humanity would perish because they wouldn't be able to withstand those light codes, because that would happen. If we weren't energetically prepared as we're being right now, we would perish in the upcoming micronova. But what have I said to you guys? At the point of the solar flash, at the point of the micronova, when we are living a life of love, and a life of truth and a life and a love of harmony and simplicity and beauty and honoring and self-honoring and all of these organic, natural ways of being. When we return to our nature, they become so obvious. When we're living in that way, when the sun flares, instead of us perishing, we emit from ourselves an energy field. I've called it a bubble of light. There's probably a better name. It's like a cocoon that we step into and that we journey through ascension in, that protects us from all of these rays, these gamma rays and so forth, that at the point of ascension would cause naturally an extinction level event. We will not perish. We will ascend into our light-bodied state. Every single one of us who's chosen to and who's capable of doing this will do it. And that is, and I know it's unbelievable when I say that, but the vast majority of the planet. It is your awakening that awakens others. It is not what you show them on the news. It is not what you tell them with your mouth. That's why I'm saying just easy on the need to get other people to believe what you believe. Just you believe what you believe. Do it with love. Do it with integrity. Do it with sincerity. And then do it more. Honor yourself more. Keep going. This is such a big thing. I see light workers do and spiritual warriors do. I see them reach a point and then go, okay, I've arrived. Like I'm awakened now. No, you're awakening. You're arriving. You're healing. You're not there yet. You're not. You've got to allow yourself the humility. I'm just beginning. We are, guys. We are just beginning to awaken. We're not awakened. No matter how wide awake you think you are only yawning. That early morning stretch, you're just beginning to awaken. So does that make sense to you? Let me know in the comments below. Did I cover it? Did you get it? Yes, there's an organic sun. Yes, there's a shielded sun. That organic sun flares and it spills out from that shield. And instead of causing us harm and detriment, it causes us to ascend more and evolve more because we're anchoring more of the light. This is what you came here for, my loves. This is what we all came together to do. I say this in so many videos because I always want to remind you, we're walking each other home and this is what it looks like. And we always said we would do this. Remember? We always said that at the ascension point we would find each other and walk each other home. Let love in. Just do that. If you say to me, what's my next steps? I'll tell you two things. The first is let love in. And the second is make it easier for yourself. And if you're able to join the Plasma Light Tribe, that's where I really hold you and cocoon you as deeply, powerfully, and profoundly as I'm able to, in a field of consciousness that allows you to access more of your truth, deeper, wider, faster, broader, so that you anchor it in, so that you get the message, oh right, I am the one I was waiting for. From my heart, all the way to yours. So much love. Thanks for journeying with me. Bye-bye for now, everyone.